Hey, remember back in early July where I said this? Don't worry, Theme Month will return in November, just for this year. Yeah, I'm cancelling it. I actually don't want to put too much pressure on my sanity, so to make things a bit easier on me, I will only make 2 reviews of unrelated games for this month, and delay the supposed last review of the Sonic month of November, as I'm not actually a Christmas special, which is Sonic Adventure. Besides, 5 years of Theme Month is basically this year's Theme Month, so why bother doing another? So there we go, an update video before the actual review. On a somewhat related note, let's talk about Gran Turismo's pathetic competition. Sega GT was released in 2000 by Tosei and WoW Entertainment as an attempt to rival Polyphony Digital's upcoming game for the PS2, still known as Gran Turismo 2000. But then, as it seems tradition to them, PD delayed it to 2001, so it feels like they have an head start on their hands. They mess it up. It was released to the Dreamcast, but it was also then ported to the PC, published by Empire here, who also published the Ford Racing series. And I really need to redo my FR2 review. Unlike those Japanese arcade races that aren't called Gran Turismo, this one got a sequel in its updated version, all exclusive to the Xbox. You could say it is the precursor to the Forza series, but that's just stretching at this point. No, I do actually own the PC version, but this is handled badly. While it's based on the European version where it has more cars, there are some issues that make this a real lazy port, mostly graphical. It's not as colorful nor polished, just look at Great Rock Road in comparison. Plus, your textures are misaligned, and the guardrails don't have anything on the outside. And when playing on Windows 7, the sound's only playing with the CD audio plays. So with that, I'm sticking with the Dreamcast version. Sure, the version I'm using has some graphical glitches and slows down, but that's because of the nature of the emulator, and my PC that I'm using. In the European version, it has this intro cinematic which, unlike Gran Turismo, doesn't have gameplay footage. On any other version, it plays this demo, so that's something. Before we start Championship, which is this game's GT mode, let's take a look at the other modes. There is Single Race, where it's just that, a single race. Like GT2, the cars are divided in classes, but unlike that, so does the tracks. Yeah, that seems a bit weird. No other race did that kind of restricted stuff. I would have wished with K cars in the sprint zone. Time attack is where... Wait, I need to buy a car in career mode to access it? What is this? GT5 Prologue? You won't miss anything, it says right in the title. And so does 2-player mode, so that's a minus for the arcade mode. The game is comprised of mostly Japanese cars, very few American ones, there's like 2 of them, and a few Audi cars. They seem out of place in the American version, but if you have the European version, there's more European customers like the Peugeot, Opel, Fiat, etc. And sorry for spoiling the game, but there's also this Mitsubishi truck, which you can get it by buying all the cars. Damn, this text looks good on my shirt. Speaking of which, there's an Isuzu and, in the European version, an Alpine, which before GT4 you won't normally see in games, especially the Gemini. I have yet to see it in a GT game. The car selection is quite alright, it's typical for a Japanese GT rival, and it just needs more diverse cars out of Japan, especially for America. 2 ain't gonna cut it! Oh look, an Evo 5. No! So the car race is a mixed bag by Gran Turismo standards. I'm giving it an equal sign for a neutral opinion. So how's the gameplay? Well, it sucks. Handling is fine on front-wheel drive and four-wheel drive cars. Seriously, I recommend driving a four-wheel drive car for the races. Anything else is a trip down oversteer hell. If you drive a powerful car, even if it's a tuned K car, you'll almost likely hit on an inside wall. And it's really frustrating when you race or do a factory license test. Even a small notch can be a nightmare. Trying to correct that is next to impossible. Let's get the obvious out of the way. The cars in this game like to bounce on bent corners and inclinations for some reason. That too can cause your car to swerve and fishtail when any tires screech. And geez, I played GT2 and even 3 after thinking I'm not crazy, but the oversteer is all over the place, and brushing up the wall can drastically reduce your speed. It's a pretty irritating combo with oversteering. Also, be prepared to hit walls a lot when driving faster cars. Yeah, the physics are quite bad in general actually. The auto transmission sucks as well. Why does it like to shift early? And why does it like to rev down and speed up? It makes me anxious. Apparently the way reverse must have inspired to make us a vanishing point. Yup, you have to shift reverse by yourself, so no dedicated button, nor brake reverse combo. Sorry for saying this again, but stop mixing simulation with arcade in a bad way! As for AI, it's fairly similar to Gran Turismo, just boring drivers. Not that competitive depending on their cars, and overall, they just love to follow the race line and eventually pass someone. And by the end of the race, they might be all far away from each other. And hey, 5 opponents. How polyphonish. Sometimes though, they can be rude to you when they're close to you. Also, there's this problem with where hitting them from the side speeds them up considerably. Ugh. There isn't much to say about the gameplay. It's Gran Turismo 3 if it wasn't delayed at all. It was a worse rush job than GT2, so it's a minus. You know what else is disappointing? The track list. Without counting the drag straights and its reverse variants, there's only 10 unique tracks, which is one less than the first Gran Turismo. You have Sky Peak Hill, a track that isn't suitable for fast races, yet it likes to add it in. Why is there cobblestone here? Solid Circuit, a more realistic looking track if you ignore this tight section, and this sun corner making the layout look incomplete. Sky Peak Track, the smallest closed circuit track in the game, this being an almost flat oval with a banked last corner. Night Ground, similar to the previous cycle, only it's fully flat and it has a chicane in the middle. Night Section Courses, the special stage Route 5 of the game, where one of the variants has this annoying part where there's a sudden 90-degree angle left turn out the right corner, which is a nightmare for front-wheel drive cars. Don't go fast, kids! Then there's Snowy Mountain, joining in with Autumn Ring for names that lose since the end of another season. I quite like the track, especially the scenery and the layout. Sprint Zone is test course equivalent, and it has the tracks Great Rock Road and Deep Rock Road. The latter is fine, a fairly easy track to learn. There you have to form with this tight corner over there. Oh god, I hate this part. This is a death trap to anyone racing, especially for the front wheel drive ones in the reverse variant. I have this mentality about this game where I don't bother braking in the few corners since crashing will have consequences some of the time, aside from fishtailing and brushing. This one expects you to slow down a lot, and I somehow fail at that. Ugh, the severe lack of tracks is a big minus on my list, and seeing these track flyovers before each race can get annoying as well. Championship mode is similar to Gran Turismo's, except there's no map nor a GT Auto, so no car wash. Sounds promising. Instead it relies on this menu. In a Japanese version it looks like this. It's just a list, so it's a pleasure to see some color in the international versions. You have the usual stuff like car shop, home, races, parts shop. Then there's the unique ones. There's license. What? No! Unlike in Gran Turismo, where you have to do the sets of tests in mostly short section of tracks to get a license, here you just need to do a one-time attack test in a set, and you now have your racer's license, woohoo! While you only have to finish the designated time, you can also try beating the fastest lap to join your works race to earn a race car. Now that's the frustrating part. It's recommended to drive with a manual for obvious reasons. Isn't it funny that in the B-Class Works Racers, the TRD one is where you drive the infamous A86 from Super GT? Ah yes, the BP-sponsored Teamcraft Sprinter Truno. A strange car used from 1998 to 2001 in the GT 3000 category of the JGTC. While it wasn't a great success in the races and was scrapped after a fire in its last season, it was a fan favorite due to its boxy design, standing out from the crowd. Anyways, it's OP in the B-Class races, so it's no wonder I got this as my first car. I'm gonna be sidetracked for a bit, but it's relevant. Ever heard of Toys Trophy? Yeah, it's Gran Turismo with bikes instead, also made by Polyphony Digital. Instead of buying bikes, you have to do these challenges to earn them. Not only that, but they require specific licenses to ride bikes. Yeah, I have a feeling they were inspired by Sega GT. Yes, it requires licenses to not only racing events, but also drive cars. So you have to put that A-Class car on hold until you get that license. The Forza series, mainly the first two motorsport games, and to an extent Gran Turismo 5, did something similar with its leveling system, which, for the latter, many people weren't impressed. The class of your car depends on the engine size. E-Class, which you don't need a license for that, are limited up to 1000 cubic centimeters, B-Class 1600, A-Class 2000, and SA Class goes beyond. That makes sense for Japanese cars, but for the European cars with varying engine sizes, some over 2 liters, it just shows that the class system needs to be very tweaked. Would you like to see a stock Opel Vectra going up against the Skyline GTR? They are both on the same class according to the engine size after all. So licenses are a plus, surprisingly. Fun fact, in the European version, the Riley Yacht Triumph with the 3000 GT is replaced by the Renault Sport with the Clio V6. And its racing variant is considered the worst handling car in the game, at least according to this guy. And it shows. Next you have the Carrozzeria, where you can actually make your own cars. Kind of. While you can choose from engine size, configuration, aspiration, position, and drivetrain, you can only choose the pre-made design and accessories. You unlock more engine types and body styles by doing factory lines instead. Okay, now this is more like Gran Turismo. Thankfully you can use your build custom alliances. Again, I recommend building 4-wheel drive cars and tuning them for these. They can be a pickle if you drive something else. Original cars are also required for some events, and the official special racers. I really like this feature. As someone who likes to draw the sides of imaginary cars since I was a kid, I'm intrigued by how you can make these rise. It's no automation, but it's very intuitive and easy to grasp on. Just hope you have enough money to progress to the next menu. Still, a plus. When it comes to the car lot, it's like GT3 except there's a used dealership, which doesn't restock nor make a listing disappear when you buy one. Yeah, it's rather odd. I know it's complicated to make a working used lot like in GT2, but that's just lazy. Mine's for that. As for events, there are 3 types. The official races, the event races divided into 6 subsets, and the World Speed King races, which you unlock by winning all the previous events. Some of the events are championships, and most have a basic weekend structure, like in GT1. Qualify first, then race, unless you don't want to do the former. Like in GT1, qualifications are based on 1-lap time trials. If you get pole position, you get paid. And I think this game is very generous to the player when it comes to winning. When you win a sponsored race, the sponsor will join you and give you money when you win. If you have at least 4, you might earn more than the event race. There's also exchange bonuses for championship races, but you get it by consecutive races. Generosity before Forza came in with its difficulty earning system, and Gran Turismo 5 brought PP and the cab earnings to the mix with its seasonal events. There's 42 events, 42 in the European version, and 57 if you count the works races. Either way, it's still a lot compared to GT1. Even then, with its lack of tracks, it can feel repetitive at times. The small, light, and large subsets are always the same. An event for unmodified cars, an original car event, a naturally aspirated event, and a one-make event. Whoa, deja vu, initial D reference. There are also special events like the Max Speed Challenge, the Endurance Race, which is a singular 15-lap race, boring, the Time Attack Challenges, and Drive Race events. Now that's hilarious. Gran Turismo 2 was supposed to have those, but due to time constraints they cut it out. Yeah, forget to fix the 98.2% glitch in the early releases, and the series has yet to have such events. As you might expect, it's a one-on-one race to the finish to see who's the fastest in a 400-meter or a kilometer straight. They have 4 heats each, which they can get harder and harder, with the last one being a fast original car at first hand. The opponent's cars are always the same in the first 3 heats, but for the 4th heat, where after you win the first time, it's gonna be your car that made you win it. Now that's some crazy stuff. As for the max speed event, I recommend the Viper GTSR concept, because when fully tuned and with good tires, it could go at almost 300 miles per hour, with a bit of stability. Take that, Sharon! I'm giving the event a plus. Love the generosity. You know how the GT2000 demo was like an upscaled, cleaner version of GT2? Yeah, the graphics are kinda like that, yet it's locked at 30 FPS. Which is strange in the PC version. You'd expect to be running at least 60, but apparently without hex editing, it's locked like the Dreamcast version. Same goes to the resolution, unless they use something like GT Voodoo. Anyways, they're alright. The models look like it's respected cars in real life and not monstrosities. It doesn't have the charm GT2 or some Dreamcast games have, but they're pleasing to the eye for most of the time. I like the little touches like the real lights from the opponent's racing in the night tracks. The sounds are fine. Here comes the bias toward GT3, but the skid noises aren't as memorable as that. Just as annoying. They don't fade in or out when it tries to screech, which makes it sound cheap. The engine noises are good though. Music is great as well. It's all original, so no licensed soundtrack, and they only play one specific song for a track, so prepare for repetitiveness. Still, it's quite enjoyable. I like the Solid Circuit one the best. The menu music, like the GT games before 5 Prologue, play it like midis, which can sound weird when playing it on Null DC, the emulator that I'm using. I don't know what's happening. The sounds are glitched, the menu music are mostly silent. I tried demo, but my computer couldn't handle full speed well. I'm stuck with this crap. It's just an issue with the emulator. The many songs are really good. Sega GT had a lot of potential. It's just too bad that it was plagued with some problems like the handling system. I'm not sure to recommend this. There are better racing games for the system like Vanishing Points, Daytona USA 2001, Wacky Races, I guess. Oh yeah, Metropolis Street Racer, the Crystal Project Gotham racing games. I hear some good things about it. In short, just play Gran Turismo free. This was not sponsored by Polyphony Additional nor Sony Interactive Entertainment. You know, I'm kind of in a mood for lighter hair again.
Oh man. If only you had a blue bob cut, we would have cosplayed as Rem and Rem together.
Oh god, you're all pesto goth now. You look honestly better than I expected.
Why thanks. Being a brunette wearing a shirt isn't the same to me, and it felt like a phase. So I decided to come back to be who I really am. Speaking of, you remind me of an old girlfriend of mine. She was a bit sweeter and cuter than you, but not as smart about goth culture as you. She sadly passed away due to breast cancer 5 years after I died the first time. I could have attended her funeral, but I was invisible at the time, and I didn't want to scare the people like a ghost.
I'm so sorry for you. Ever since I started growing breasts, I'm getting a bit paranoid that I might get a lump that isn't just a bud. I'm not sure if I'll be as good as your dead ex since I have a demon inside. She seems a bit reluctant of you.
There's also something I wanted to say, but I don't think you're ready for it. Maybe next month. Can we play some games? I need to feel good after telling that story.
Sure.